My next blog post is going to be about hope, which is when we lost our rabbit enclosure, we thought all the babies drowned. They stay down there because we raise rabbits naturally. I just thought it was going to
friends that were like, tell me what it's like.
So things are starting to so we had several storms, right? So rabbit coil and was damaged, and it was in the process of being repaired. And I think the right shoulder so close, knocked down like all 5 of the trees in our front yard, literally blew away the coil, and eventually our rabbits on the ground, they just go in there and sleep, so they all ran out. So we get them scattered. No, we have everything. They're in the backyard. They're so cute. And we don't have any so we're trying to fundraise to fix it. And he's also being pacified because the mayor of Wasika pacified.
Yeah, well, that's not the same. I watched some of the YouTubers from Wasika. Like, oh,
the money in Wasika is a lot of people retired and they're people that all college educated because there's a big lake and so they bought these so it's very progressive for a small town. The university had that happen.
It's almost the same. Actually, like probably Wisconsin, because they've been delivering some of their
I'm assuming that we're doing the opening lecture.
We should have a stage manager come around and say, 2 minutes, everybody. Thank you, too.
We'll flash the lights.
Yes.
This is not a theater show.
He told me that
it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Often our light is askew.
So am I, so it's fine. It's time.
somebody told me recently that what he does is he goes into his bank or his credit card company and there are notifications, set notifications on different charges due to his credit card. Interesting. It's 5 to 10.
Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. We're glad that you're here. My name is Bryan, and my pronouns are he, him. And I have a few announcements to share, and then I'll open it up to announcements from the floor. We do try to keep the service to 1 hour, but we don't hold any hostages. So today we might get a little chatty since we're all talking, and we love to talk. So if you need to leave early or on time, please do. Today we're going to have a conversation about our vision for just our worship service times, not other parts of the church, but just, having an open conversation. So we won't have a reflection music or anything like that. I'll just have a very short reading that I wrote. I didn't even use ChatGPT for this one. I actually wrote it myself. But then we'll just talk about that. So it's a conversation, and it's just, again, I'll remind you that it's about worship service and the things that we would like to do or see this year. And that would include also speakers. And because it's recorded, right, Jim? I won't have to take any notes because I can go back and watch it. That way I can engage and respond. And for those of you also then that are interested in what the talk was, I'll go in and transcribe it. Is that the word? Transcribe? The parts that for the suggestions, and then I'll kind of send that out to Kelly first because, president stuff, power, But then we'll figure it out and see if anybody wants to look at that. The next announcement is Wells of Wisdom. Wow. The change of date, September 20th, which is this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. Barbara will host our September meeting at our home in Savage. There's a nature hike and more. Come dressed to move. And hopefully the mosquitoes are all gone. That wasn't on the announcement. Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry, I had to add that.
But also bring a picnic lunch or something because there's a picnic area.
Oh, bring a
That
picnic
was
lunch.
added to the announcement.
Oh, sorry.
So,
I missed that one. So bring a lunch, picnic lunch. Next Sunday, September the 21st, we finally have our dates right. Sorry about that. We'll have a guest speaker named Seth Anderson-Mutz coming to share with us. Seth is a former student of mine and is currently traveling from UU and UCC Church to another, carrying messages of what he is involved in, and it's very articulate and entertaining at the same time. I aspire to be like my former student, Seth. September the 28th, Sunday, is our Water Communion Sunday. If you don't know about Water Communion, please come and feel free to talk to each other, but most of us probably know that we're going to be invited to bring some water from a source that is meaningful to you, and if you don't, we'll have extra water, and then we're going to pour it into one vessel and share about that water and what it means to you. And then at the end of the service, we'll have a ritual pouring of the water into the ground, which is very meaningful to most people. So if you have more questions about that, see me or anybody who is, I shouldn't say old hat, a seasoned hat at Dakota. Sunday, October the 5th is Rally Sunday. This is the Bring a Friend or Family Sunday. It's the closest we get to evangelizing in the UU. But this is a day where we sort of have moved it from what's typically the first Sunday in September that we come back to October, because we take our season seriously in Minnesota, and some people are still out of town and doing things on the weekends, so we postpone it till October. It's always a very interesting and fun day, so we're inviting you all to that. And then, speaking of inviting, this Friday, September the 19th, is our third Friday service, and we're going to be celebrating the autumnal equinox. We're going to talk about harvest and giving thanks, which I know is a little early in, before Thanksgiving, but we should always be thinking about that. And not just physical harvests, but all the other things that we've harvested. And thank you, Dawn, for that wonderful idea, because I was completely blank about it. There will be fire, just so you know. All right. Just wanted to warn you, because the last time I did that, people were stunned. Also, the 27th of September, we are having our annual Harvest Festival at our farm, and everyone is welcome. It's on a Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. Come and go anytime during that, even if you're early or late. And some people are coming early to help set up. Some people will stay late to help clean up. And if anybody's interested in bringing something, you don't have to. But if you want to bring a treat or whatever, just see me so, we can kind of write that down and not have to make it ourselves. But since people ask. All right. That's it, I think, for the announcements that I have.
Search committee.
Oh, so we are in the process of forming a search team that will encompass several searches. Well, a few, not several. Let's not overwhelm it. A few searches. One, a search to look at different possible locations, since we may need to move at some point. And then also, tell me the other two.
Treasurer.
Treasurer. We need a treasurer and
Vice
a
president.
vice president. And if you're interested in those positions, please see Kelly. And if you're interested in, to be on the search team, please also see Kelly or anybody on the council or even me. Other announcements?
One of my two a cappella groups that I'm in will be singing next Sunday, the 21st, 3 p.m. at Augustana Lutheran Church in West St. Paul. See me if you're interested in tickets, or you can find it online at mixedcompanysingers.com. So appreciate anybody who'd like to come hear us sing.
Yes.
Today from 1 to 4 at the Cooler Gallery is an open house reception for the Crosstown Camera Club. We have photographs featuring the region defined not by political borders, but the subtle geography of a river basin where prairie meets bluff and farmland gives way to wetlands, woods, and winding currents of the
Beautiful.
Minnesota River. So it's a little photo exhibit.
Nice.
Thank you, Linda.
I'm going to leave the description over the treats.
On the treats, my favorite spot. Dawn.
So if anyone is interested in doing political resistance rallies on overpasses over Highway 52, come see me. We're getting a group together that's going to start doing that. So see me later.
Then just for announcements, if you would like those announcements to show up in the little slide carousel at the start, or to be in the newsletter, please send it to Suki. And then we can get that in so people have another way of getting that information.
Others?
Yeah, this past week or so, I went to a Chicago conference about the International Association of Near-Death Studies. It's a group of people who've had near-death experiences or other mystical encounters with mystical encounters. Anyway, there's no local Twin Cities group. So I'm involved with a small group who's forming a Twin Cities chapter of IANS, the International Association of Near-Death Studies. And if you know anyone who's had, a mystical experience along those lines, put them in touch with me, and because it a lot of times helps to talk to other people that have had similar experiences.
Thank you, Carrie.
Interesting.
Anything else? Okay, well, as I not so ceremoniously process to the piano to play the prelude, I invite you to take a deep breath and just try as much as you can to separate yourself from the chaos of the world. Exhale just as intentionally. Center ourselves among one another. And let us listen to this probably familiar tune. reflect on that as I process back to the front.
Thank you, Bryan.
Take all my mistakes as love. I invite you to remain seated and join us in our opening words and lighting of the chalice. Come, beloved community, bring hopes and questions you carry for the year ahead. Bring the stories that shaped you and the dreams that stir your heart. Today we dare to imagine the worship that will nourish us, songs that awaken joy, words that speak courage, silence that restores the soul.
We come to listen and to speak, to shape a vision of worship that will guide our journey. Together we create the service of love and justice.
Here, every voice is needed, every insight a gift. The Spirit of life meets us in our conversation, and in our imagining, we become the church we long to be.
Let us begin, open to wonder and to one another.
We light this chalice as a beacon for our shared vision, a flame of inspiration for the worship that we will create, a fire of welcome for every heart, a light to guide our path through this church year.
May
this flame induce our creativity and our courage, that together we may worship with depth, serve with compassion, and walk the way of love.
And now we all say together,
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers, to heal with love, to help with compassion, to bless with joy, to serve you, Spirit of freedom, in the fullness of community.
now I invite you to join us in our opening hymn, which is number 145, As Tranquil Streams. And I'll just give you a little introduction. And please rise as you are able. You're getting your steps in today. I didn't even wear my watch to count my steps. Because I get no steps
they
on
don't
the
count.
phone. Oh, they don't count. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate that. It's kind of like calories don't count on Sunday either, so
That's right.
I'm good. I invite you to listen to this beloved community moment that I composed in light of ongoing issues. So I'll hear these words. This morning we pause to name the grief and the resolve that live side by side in our hearts. Around our nation and in our own neighborhoods and educational institutions, violence continues to wound families, to shatter communities, and to bring almost daily fear of what is going to happen next. Whether its source is political rage, personal despair, or the easy reach of guns, the suffering it leaves behind is never abstract. It is mothers and fathers, children and friends, each life precious and irreplaceable. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm the worth and dignity of every person in the interdependent web of all existence. These principles call us to stand against all forms of violence, to refuse to accept senseless gun violence as inevitable, to challenge the culture of fear, and to create spaces of safety, healing, and courageous love. We commit ourselves to the hard work of peace, to advocate for just laws, to nurture compassion in our daily lives, and to embody the love that can transform hatred. May our words become action, and our actions become the light of hope. Together, we choose the path of nonviolence, trusting that love is stronger than fear and that our shared courage can help bend the long arc of the universe towards justice. May it be so. And this is the time during our service when, if you feel moved to do so, we invite you to come forward, light a candle, share a joy and or concern, and then at the end I'll light a candle for all of those unspoken joys and concerns.
It's just for my son and I weren't doing so well.
Couple things. First, this is for my mom. She was diagnosed with, tested positive for COVID, so she's had to stay in her room since Monday, and hopefully tomorrow she'll be well enough to venture back out into the regular crowd. But she's with dementia, trying to figure out why am I stuck in here, and well, no one told me that. The other is this last weekend we stripped the cabin down with the help of family and friends, so just thank you to everybody that helped make that happen. So it'll get bulldozed in the next week or so. And then the new beginning, new cabin comes.
I have 3 birthdays to celebrate. My mom had a birthday last week. Well, she would have had a birthday last week. And my grandmother's birthday was today. And Chuck is going to have a birthday on Wednesday.
What?
Right?
Didn't sound
Back already?
Didn't we just do that last year?
This is for my Aunt Diane Heinrich. Please hold her in your thoughts. She's not doing well. She got rushed to the hospital yesterday, and she just lost her mate, my uncle, like 2 weeks ago. So keeping her in my thoughts.
I have a joy-ish.
Go ahead, Megan.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I had fully intended to be there in person today, but I didn't get to sleep till about 4 a.m., so I'm not there in person. But I finally, this is referencing back to my kitchen fire back in early February. A couple weeks ago, I finally got my possessions back. It's been a long Hall fighting with the insurance company, and they're very uncooperative. So I can't put in a thumbs up for State Farm. Um, I've been unpacking. They're probably, I don't know how many boxes. I should have counted, I guess, but certainly more than 100. And I have been slowly unpacking the boxes. And it's very time consuming and exhausting, but slowly but surely, I'm starting to get things back in order. And I have a kitchen that I can cook in finally. So I guess all's good.
I have a joy and concern, if y'all can
Okay.
hear me.
Yep, go Kathy.
Well, this is for Annabelle. Um, she had a little playground accident last week and whacked heads with another kid and ended up with a concussion. So she is at home, I believe, sitting in a nice dark space and still recuperating. So she did come up to the cabin yesterday and had some fun, but she is still suffering some symptoms of concussion and working on recovering from that.
Thanks, Kathy. Hope she gets better soon. I've gone into full mourning. Friday was the grand finale of Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Any Downton Abbey fans here?
Yeah.
We went to see it at AMC in Southdale on Friday, and I miss Maggie Smith.
Oh, yes.
And I've started the whole series from the first episode last night at home.
Well, first, I want to light a candle that stands for two things. One, another extension of gratitude from us for all of those of you who have helped us clean up over the summer for the various myriad of storms and catastrophes, and for those of you that have helped us financially with that. This candle is also going to point, another shameless plug, to my next blog post, which is going to be happening this week, which is about something that happened last night. And since I'm not preaching a sermon today, I'll just share with you some inspiration from our farm. So at the end of July, we had the biggest of the storms that took out most of our trees and also destroyed our rabbit and quail structure. And under there, the rabbits had built nests because we do rabbit rearing naturally. So they go into the ground like they're supposed to and sleep and have their babies and all that kind of stuff. But because the trees and also the structure was damaged beyond the point of repair, and also it was in the middle of a reconstruction from the first farm. It had a tarp over the top which collected 50 gallons of water, which flooded the whole part where the rabbits were. And so we lost a lot of quail, and we also thought that all of the babies that would have been in that ground bunker probably were deceased. And we did find some later that were deceased. But last night, a little baby rabbit showed up. And we don't know their gender, but it doesn't matter because their name is Hope. Because if you want to know more about it, just tune into my blog. But if you also want to see pictures, just go to my Facebook. It gives us hope. And now I'll light a final candle for all of those joys and concerns that remain unspoken. May we know that whatever befalls us in life, we are held in the loving embrace of this community. And now we say, for all of those joys and concerns that remain unspoken and those that have been spoken,
We hold you in our hearts.
So I did a search for a reading that would have to do with what we're going to do today. I couldn't find it, so indulge me that I wrote a very, very short, non-poetic poem that hopefully encompasses some of the feelings that I hope that we, deal with and share today. New visions for a future. Our future. Open the doors of the heart. Let fresh winds stir the embers. Yesterday's song has blessed us. Today calls for a melody yet unsung. We are seekers of the holy, makers of meaning in every single breath. Love is not a fixed star in the sky, but a living fire, ever growing, ever evolving. Come, beloved community, walk into the widening light. New visions await our courage, and the spirit of tomorrow whispers, begin again. And so much, with much gladness, I'm going to sit back down. And I just wanted to open the floor, and I'll just keep time. That's going to be more of my job than anything. But what I'd like to do is just see what kind of ideas for different services that we are going to be having this year, and to give you an idea about what that includes. Not only does it include our Sunday services, but also special services that we have around the equinoxes and the solstices, which is how we're going to do our third Fridays for this church year. The first of which for this church year is this Friday. And any other special services that you can think of, but just thinking about that, also the different kinds of topics that you might want to see discussed or be a part of a discussion, different kinds of speakers, also any kinds of modes of doing things like ritual practices, and so forth and so on. The sky's the limit in our conversation. In my writing class a long time ago in high school, my writing teacher said, it's just brainstorming. Just brainstorm. And as I said, I can go in and transcribe this over the course of the next couple of weeks from the recording and then share it. That way we can just listen to each other, think together, and then after some reflection on that over time, we'll see a list of different kinds of ideas. And that's where we are. Just keep in mind, this is a discussion about our services and not other parts of what's going on in the church. Not that those things aren't important, but I feel need to make a space for this, because since I've been here, I basically have adapted to what you've had and changed it a tiny bit, added some new things, but now I want to be able to see where you feel we're needing to go.
I can go first or second.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to see us have a service about end-of-life issues and like death and dying and grief, and possibly have a hospice person come in and talk, or just have an open discussion along with that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. I'm involved with Compassionate Choices, and they're the people that are trying to push through medical aid and dying in Minnesota. But they also have a lot of resources about, like the name of their book is Finish Strong. So, so that you have choices and stuff like that. So that those might be somebody that they said they would be willing to come in and find somebody to come in, and they train duenas, which is somebody that is helps people go through the end of life and stuff like that. But yeah, good one.
Which reminds me, before you go, I forgot to say that we do have a speakers team now. Not a committee, but a team. It's myself and Carrie and Steph. And of course, you could certainly email me and I can forward to them. But if you aren't thinking at the place today about speakers, but over the course of the next however many days you think of some possible speakers, feel free to email one of us or me, and I'll share it with the team, and we can try to find different ways of contacting speakers. Even if you've emailed me before and those emails might have been caught somewhere or disappeared, we'd love to have a fresh list of ideas for speakers. Okay, go ahead.
I'm glad we had time to think about this ahead of time, because I put some thought into it. Why do I come here? What do I get out of it? Where do I want to see the church going in the future? And the three words that came to mind were fellowship, music, and inspiration. And when I started coming back, when I first revisited the congregation way back, I think it was in the winter, just shortly after you started the new church year, I immediately felt like I was getting what I needed from Bryan's messages and Kathleen's music, and the fellowship of just, the chit chat means more to me than most people probably realize. So for me, it's just continuing what we are already doing. Pastor's messages, we had one on transformation, I think just as we were wrapping up last church year, and then we had forgiveness last week. Just your messages are so meaningful. I know we sit here and you probably wonder if any of it's being absorbed, but it is being absorbed and appreciated. And the music is great, and I feel a little guilty because we're asking Pastor to do double duty, put Kathleen's hat on and come over and play, but you're so talented, it's amazing. And Chuck last week with his music, and Suki when she's here. I wish I had more to contribute. I like bringing treats.
And that's really important.
Food for the soul, and food, yeah.
Every idea that's been said so far sounds great. That makes me very happy. But I just want to say a particular amen to your mention of inspiration, and Bryan, your mention of celebrating things like the equinoxes and that whole constellation of things around nature religions and pagan religions. I mean, one of the things I like best about coming here is, the stop, appreciate, contemplate, feel the flow of the universe, the wheel of life, stand back, put your cares aside, let's think about, nature and the way things have gone on forever, and it helps to give me perspective and calm down.
I agree with everything so far, and one of the things about music, I loved Kathleen and I loved her contributions, but the little caveat to that was there are half a dozen or so hymns that we haven't done for like 4 or 5 years that are favorites of mine that are like, so we have the opportunity to go revisit some of the old ones, and then also Kathleen introduced us to some new ones that were really good, so we can kind of build our repertoire in the services, and I think that's exciting. And if anybody knows a good piano player, I was wondering if that should also be on the search team.
Oh, right.
So we're looking for an accompanist.
We might have a connection, but
yeah, we
I'm
haven't
not
heard
sure.
back from this one lady who was interested, so hopefully we will hear back from her. So
It always helps me if we want to introduce a new hymn that within the following month we hear it
again, a couple of,
again.
once or
And
twice.
then I will hear it in my mind while
Right.
I'm lying in bed at night.
and that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
For topics to cover maybe, I think we still have the whole JETPIG, the justice, equity, transformation, like we could take one of those a week and talk about what they mean to us, and then decide as a congregation, do we want to sign on to the national UU, I don't remember what they're called anymore, principles, something.
Shared values.
I don't know.
Shared values, thank you, it's
Yes.
shared values.
Shared values.
I remember JETPIG, but, so that's the one idea for, we get like, 6-8 weeks out of that.
Yeah, and I will always love the 7 principles, and I'd love to maybe focus on where the new shared values and the old 7 principles kind of inform each other, or, you know,
Overlap.
not necessarily we're deleting the old ones and saying don't celebrate that anymore, but just how all that fits together.
Yeah, and how one is a shared value, and then the next piece of it is a covenant. And that kind of confused me when we first had it, you know, when we were first reading it, that the shared covenant is a little bit, for me, it was a little bit hard to understand because I have difficulties absorbing more than 2 abstract words in one sentence. But to actually look at the covenant part as well as the shared value part.
Yeah.
But, so what I was thinking on the way here is that there's, as I understand it, an executive order that says that churches can now endorse candidates. Now, whether that won't be taken up, but whether that won't be taken up with the federal courts and
Disputed there.
and the Supreme Court and all like that, but there has been something coming out of the executive mouth.
It wasn't the executives, it was the IRS, the tax court itself. It was not.
Oh, okay,
It was
okay.
the tax court itself, and it's not as broad as was advertised in the media.
Okay.
So we can look at it though, absolutely, but
Well,
it's not as
you know,
broad as-
what was going through my brain, and this is a non sequitur, is that if that is so, we don't have to be so afraid of mentioning anything political.
Right.
But, you know,
But I
I'll
want
go
to
up.
find it out. I want to read the fine print.
Yeah, I went back and looked at the IRS, the government website, where it says what churches can and cannot do. And I would be interested to going in and seeing if there's any changes in
Yeah,
there.
that would be interesting.
Yep.
We don't need to get into the business of endorsing candidates.
Right.
Yeah,
I
don't-
know, I
that's
know,
not
me
something I
too.
want to do either. I mean, issues, fine, or an individual coming up and say, I support this cause, and so does Angie Craig or whatever. I think that's okay, but for me, it's my own opinion.
I know we once had Colleen Rowley, and she was a candidate for CD2, but she didn't talk about her candidacy.
No, she talked about,
Because she
yeah.
was a
She was an FBI
FBI agent, yes, that's right, yep.
And if anybody doesn't know about it, I hope you can hear me, Megan. Megan introduced me to the DFL, South Metro Caucus,
Right.
and Kelly and Chuck have been there.
Yeah, the
That is a-
senior caucus.
I personally am an independent, but I was invited to go to that group, and it's a great group of people, and they meet once a month at the Mediterranean Cafe in Burnsville, and it's just a really nice meeting. And I'm just saying that as another way to express your political aspirations.
Yeah.
They're just a great group of people, and they have speakers, and they have a really nice lunch, and it's like the second Tuesday of the month or something like that.
Second Wednesday.
Second Wednesday of the month, every month at Mediterranean. But Megan, thank you for telling me about that group.
Yeah.
Sorry about the non-next sequitur there.
Since we're having an open conversation and this has come up, I can't say anything for sure, but we probably are going to have a state representative coming and sharing with us, because that state representative asked me to go and share with the House of Representatives, so it's tit for tat, you know?
Yeah.
And but she's very good, so I don't know that for sure, so I'm not going to mention names yet, but you probably already know who it is.
Well, and it's different having already somebody elected
Exactly.
that's not necessarily campaigning right now and coming to speak with us than it is during a campaign.
It is good to know who our allies are, with whom we share values, so
Yes.
Exactly.
that builds strength.
Shared values and covenant.
Incidentally, that's why you hear me in a lot of the stuff, I put the old principles in, because I don't want to, I also, like, coming into the UUA, I was like, okay, I know these principles, and all of a sudden, after
They
I'm
change.
coming in, it changed, but I think that there's nothing mutually exclusive about any of it, it just
Right.
falls in.
Right.
So I don't think I'm agreeing with you, we're not gonna lose any of that.
And I attended the General Assembly while this was in process, and there were people that were so concerned about, why are we losing the principals, and that was not what the intention was, and they made it very clear. But I also wanted to bring up, because not everybody probably knows what JETPIG stands for, so if you don't know what we're talking about, it's justice, equity, help me out, transformation, pluralism, that's the
I love that word.
inclusion,
And interdependence.
interdependence, right, and generosity. So there's these 6 shared values is what we, as UUs, are proclaiming to share and have in common. Instead of a dogma, instead of a creed that we have to say, I believe in this, we say, we covenant, we promise to affirm these shared values in our life.
And how it was explained to me recently, and I think this is, I'm going to try to get us back on this kind of like the
Sorry.
worship thing. No, it's not sorry, because this is quite highly relevant. But as one really astute UU minister told me recently, it's looking at JETPIG and also the principles, they're not mutually exclusive. It's like when a church decides they want to proclaim that they're open and affirming to the LGBTQIA community, but they also want to be a just peace church. Those are 2 separate commitments, but that doesn't mean that you can't have both.
Right.
Which I think we probably, even if it's unofficial, are those 2 things already. But my point is that you don't have to get rid of one to the other. You don't have to focus on just one.
Right.
Other ideas for worship? I think we have like probably about 5 to 7 minutes left. I know it never goes as
I enjoy the, and I'm this is very personal because I think that other people don't, but I enjoy when the theological history that influences things other than theology, perhaps, of just culture, or, you know, some of the ones about, I can't remember what it was about that, oh, I know, I thoroughly enjoyed the Epiphany one. I had no idea what Epiphany was, but I know what the word means now, and it was really interesting. And so, that kind of stuff interests me.
Yeah.
I just think that incorporating things that we know and love from the past and touchstones like the rainbow path and lighting that, all those beautiful, it's a visual, it's a touchstone, and I come here for the same reasons that Todd, you said, and I've always enjoyed just that beautiful break in the week, and it's part of my growing up. I was used to a ritual on Sunday, and this really is important.
And Pastor Bryan, your connections have brought us some really good speakers, and of course that'll continue. But like the president of UTS and many other good speakers, so there's such a good mix here. You know, the council and the staff are already nailing it, in my opinion, if we can just keep the momentum going. I don't know why we don't grow more. The Unitarian brand, quote unquote, in my mind is such a strong brand. And now with such strong leadership and pastor's continuity, having been here 2 years, I am surprised there's not more growth.
That's going to be a whole other subject of conversation later on. We talked about that at council today. So more to come on that.
Yes.
But thank you.
One thing I appreciate and acknowledge is that you have brought a stability and a consistency, and I know for a lot of people, the regular order of service having a similar feel of what's coming next, what it entails, is a good thing to get in into the routine.
Good rhythm.
It's good rhythm and stuff. However, I wouldn't mind having a once in a while some kind of shake it up Sunday or whatever, where it's like today is more open and loose and stuff like that. But just, I don't know, a different kind of a presentation or a different, I don't know. We used to have a little play or different things.
Hootenanny.
There you go. Well, and since you brought that up, I would share also, sometimes when we didn't have a pastor, or a consulting minister, we would rely on the congregation on a few Sundays. And one of the things was the This I Believe, or what did we call it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I was thinking of this.
This I Believe Sunday, so 2 or 3 sometimes, or 1, would share how we got to the place we are at. Not that we're staying here. I'm not talking physically, but how we got to the religious viewpoint that we have, our own personal story of that. And we realized that we are continuing to grow. But that's been really, really sweet.
Yeah, and it was,
To get to
it
know
takes a
people.
little arm twisting sometimes to get 2 or 3 people to say, yeah, I'll speak for 5 minutes or whatever.
I'll call in some favors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Bruce Peck and
I-
Roxanne Schneider used to do that. They were
Yeah.
both very good at that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Jim did a really good one too.
I love what
I loved everybody's.
Chuck said about Shake It Up Sunday. I think we should have official Shake It Up Sundays, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I think that's great.
Shake it up how though, Megan?
If you get too prescribed, it's not shaking it up.
It can be anything.
Okay.
It's like when we have, like Claudia Schmidt, and we kind of just do a little bit of ritual at the beginning and at the end, but say, okay, Claudia, do your thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Michael Monroe, or musical presentations like that. And other things, whatever you think of.
Maybe
You
you
could have a stand-up comedian come.
Maybe you didn't know, but that's one of the reasons I proposed the third Friday things, is start to plant those seeds, because those are kind of shake it up, not Sundays, but we could start.
Right.
I love this idea, so this is good.
Yeah.
This is really good.
If I can interject, T. Michael, I think it did a wonderful
Right.
presentation for us.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Can you hear me? And yeah,
Yes.
and for those who don't know, he will be at the greenhouse next Sunday, 4:00, potluck and concert.
Yeah.
What's
And
the-
my new friend Gabo and Claire and the kids are hoping to come to that, so you could meet them too.
Oh, nice.
what's the greenhouse?
Oh, a half mile from my house, my neighbors built a greenhouse specifically for community concerts.
Wow.
And they've had wonderful people, and yeah, like T. Michael and Claudia Schmidt, who are, national stars in my opinion, and they
Right.
love coming. It's very informal. So yeah,
Anne
come
Reed
for
was just there.
Pardon?
Anne Reed was just there.
Yep.
Oh my. Can you send us more information about how to join?
Sure. Us as in, who should I send it to?
Can we put it in the church newsletter, you think, Holly?
Sure.
I would think so.
Yeah.
That's great.
Send it to Bryan or me, or,
I can send it, I got it.
Kelly's got it, so she's gonna.
Oh, okay.
We got it.
Okay, we have time for, sorry, somebody's gotta be the timekeeper, right? We have time for a couple more ideas, but, this conversation is only beginning, so hopefully you all know that you can come and share with any people, and then it'll hopefully matriculate to me or the worship team and that kind of thing. Jim?
So one of the things just going, I've liked learning about other religions, so when we've had other discussions,
Other faith
Buddhism,
traditions.
Hinduism, Islam, a mixture of just seeing how the religions have formed. Could even go back into some of the more verbal traditions, native, the indigenous religions and things.
Along that line, I have a suggestion. What if we, during the summer when we only meet once a month, what if we had a small group that got together on Sunday and went to different congregations in the area as a visitor.
Mhm.
That would be fun to do as a small group.
Right.
I drive by all these mega churches. You know, they're all over the Dakota County area, and I wonder what goes on inside those walls.
Well, I'll talk to you at treetop.
You know, if you go to a wedding or a funeral, that's when you get the, yeah.
But I mean it in a positive way.
Sure.
I really do. I just think
Step
it's
us up.
positive.
Oh, sorry.
Another idea might be to take, not a long book maybe, but a book with a few chapters, and we read a chapter and talk about it, you know, that week. And I know we've tried book club outside of the service, I know that, but this might be interesting if we could, like, I think there's one called the Four Principles or the Four Elements or something. I don't know. There might
Four
be.
agreements, I think is what you're talking
Absolutely. So
about.
anyway, that was another idea.
Chuck?
Yeah, I would like to focus a Sunday or maybe a series or whatever on communicating with people who disagree with you. You know, like nonviolent communication, that sort of thing.
No, yeah, nonviolent communication, yeah, that'd be good.
So to round out the conversation, there's a couple things that I wanted to add to the end before we start bringing ourselves to a close. One is, thank you for the accolades about bringing people in that are new. Last year was really challenging as opposed to the first year, but mostly it's because I've come to understand after talking to these people over the summer, it was really, there was a bunch of stuff going on because of the results of the election, and people were called to justice work, and then they couldn't come and speak in many cases. But I think this year we'll probably have a more diverse amount of that as well. So just wanted to, so it's not really an apology, but it kind of is, you know, like this year's, I had people scheduled and they would tell me, oh, I know you scheduled me for 3 months from now, but I've got to go and do this march and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, how can I like be mad at that? People need to be working for justice. So it's been quite a year. Yeah. So on that note, what I would like to do is take us to another note, which is our closing hymn, which is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. And I invite you to rise as you are able, number 131.
I'll play a short introduction and then we'll get started. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can hear from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Thank you, Chuck. I invite you to be seated. And, you know, I've been making an announcement every so often to be seated and for the postlude, but you don't really have to remain so for this. I just wanted to play a little something that I like. It's one of my favorites. It's a Jamaican folk song. Gotta turn it on first, though, apparently.
Shaking it up.
Yeah, I'm shaking it up. This is the start of Shake It Up Sunday.
Did it again.
One moment, technical difficulties. And I'll give the sending insight after this. I just wanted to get this out of the way. all my mistakes as just little notes of love. And may you go forth from this place with vision in your heart and mission in your actions. I just made that up. Go in peace. And don't forget treats.
Thank you, Bryan.
I think the words to that song, sounds great.
Yeah,
You're right.
You can take your hand off.
Another one? Oh, careful.
I can come up.
No, we're not making trip.
Okay. Because
I was just gonna print out the
well, yeah, because I'm trying to schedule, this has to do with the deliveries thing. I'm trying to schedule my
Well,
deliveries
it was sent in
where
an
I do
email,
a Sunday
but I don't know if you.
one week,
Yeah.
well, of the week, and Friday that same week. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking for that.
Celebration of Life was the other week downtown Minneapolis.
Oh, I'm getting exhausted.
Yeah.
Trying to manage music and everything else, right? Thank you, yeah. So we can just email and text about that one time.
Yes, we're having one Tuesday.
So all of it.
This
So
Tuesday.
much I send you info. So should I email or text it to you? Text. Text it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, he was complaining, but he was still.
He was?
I didn't wanna take that joy.
Walking his first pair of them a couple times a day. And he's still digging it down. The last time I saw him, the day before his birthday, he was out in the
Oh, the
parking
bread
lot digging
was-
in the dumpster.
Oh, my God.
No,
Yeah. Well, he was a and he was creative, so everything he found, if it was a stick in the ground, it was like,
You said it
oh,
last
this
week,
is
though.
cool, I can make this one.
Yeah.
Thinking, yeah.
And it-